So here is a pair of end tables, and it's the last of all the pairs that I had, so I'm going to be glad to be refinishing them and putting them all up for sale. So these look like wood, but let's take a better look. I can see that there's a break right here. Oh, you know what that is the wood is splitting. Hi, my name is Kat from Owling Dog. I love creative arts and restoring old furniture and other items. The time you spend watching this channel is appreciated. I hope you subscribe and like these videos, which helps circulate the content. Feel free to drop a comment. All of these are appreciated. Well, let's go see what's in the barn. Yeah, so after I planned to take these down, take the finishes off, and do some painting on the bottom to modernize them. So far, looks like some of the finishes chipped off. I think this is part of the wood. Yeah, that's just part of the grain. Now putting it upside down, I can realize that some of the legs are a little bit loose. This one feels okay, but so I went to get one of these, and the first one I grabbed fits. So how often does that happen? Not very often. Oh, it's missing the little washer is what it is. It's not really the right one, but it will work. Great.
100% white. This is just getting it to go lighter as it's going towards that viewer or towards the edge of that wave. If you want pops of color, if you want little extra pieces of white on the edge of some of these waves, you can certainly do that. I'm thinking that mine is as much as I need it to be.
So people talk about sanders. I think it's all a matter of preference in what you use. But for instance, I'll have to look it up afterwards. I can't remember what brand this is, but it's just a generic 5-inch foam pad that you can put on a sander. And this is the Bosch that I use a lot. And so that's all I'm going to do is put this on, just so that I can go over my edges. And I have a 120 grit sandpaper here. And my Stanley shop vac. This is a little, hook thing. What do I call it? Connector that I hook up when I want to use it. So, and that's it. That's simply it. And I can go over the edges. So I'm going to stop this, speed it up, and we'll see what happens. But I'll turn the sound off. So that's a little workhorse. When I use the pad, I have to actually turn up the RPMs on it. So the previous time that I used it, I was doing some kind of delicate work. I can't remember what I did. But I had it set on 2, and so I turned it up to 6 so that it would, rotate this pad without any problem. Yeah, so I like the Bosch. It's all in what you like. But yeah, this is a little workhorse and it suits me fine. I ended up putting some citrus strip on them off camera. Oh, I don't know. I started sanding the tops and it was probably going to take me forever. The sides sand off so easily. Plus, I nicked the bodies a couple of times with the sander, so I'm going to have to go over it a little bit tomorrow because my products are at home and I don't want to go back and get them and climb back up the mountain. So I'm going to wait for the citrus strip, see if that does anything at all, which I don't know, it usually doesn't. It does very little for me, but it's warm enough in here, and I covered them with plastic, so I'm just going to hang out a little while and see if that does something. And least of all, it might pull up some of the finish on it so that it will sand off a little easier. We'll see. Okay, so we worked on these today. I tried sanding them and they were kind of resistant. So I used some citrus strip and it really wasn't bad. I mean, it didn't take off all the finish, but it lifted enough of that finish so that I could sand them without too much trouble. I used an 80 grit on each, 2 separate sandpapers. And you'll notice that, so this is the first table that I did, and then that's the second table that I sanded with the orbital sander. And you can already see that the tannins are coming back through. And I find that a lot. I know this isn't the most beautiful oak that, I think it's oak. Or maybe it's something different. It looks kind of like oak to me. It could be. I mean, I don't think it's poplar because it's not greenish. Anyway, leave a comment if you have an idea of what kind of wood that is. I'm not an expert at telling which wood is which, but I'm saying it looks like oak because of this fuzzy little green here. And so what I'm going to do tomorrow when I come back, I'm sure I'm going to see that more and more tannins have released through the night. So my way of handling that, and you may have a different way, please leave a comment if you have other ideas. I'd like to know what you do. But what I do is I do some fine sanding and I get it down as clear as I can. In other words, to the point where I'm not seeing obvious tannins pulling through. And I immediately spray it with shellac because that seals it in at the point where you left it. So if I were to leave these all night and then come back in the morning and then just put shellac on it, it's just going to seal in the tannins that seep through during the night. So I won't do that. You know, I'll come back in the morning, I'll resand it probably by hand, and then I'll seal it with shellac before I do any tint. I don't even think I'm going to tint it. To me, it looks kind of rustic, and everything's the rage with that now as far as leaving wood natural. So I'm going to see what it looks like, you know, with the shellac on it and see what kind of colors I get. I have to do some touch-ups on the paint and some touch-ups with the lacquer after I touch up the paint because I put some nicks on it when I was working with them today. And yeah, so it's a good day's work, and we'll come back in the morning and we'll continue. Cold up here today, but I can see that the shellac did bleed through, especially on one side. I don't know why it's always, if there's 2 tables, there's one that's a problem child. It's always that way. Yeah, but it's pretty cold in here. I'll carry up my coffee like that. Yeah, let's go see the temperature inside. So it looks to me like 33 maybe. It could be, it could be a little cooler near the wall, but this actually feels pretty good. I mean, wood is a good insulator actually, and that's a brand new facing. So yeah, let's take a look at this tabletops. So yeah, we can see that. Put this down right here. Here's the problem child. This one isn't too bad. A little bit of staining, tannin staining on this top corner, but you can see that this has to be sanded. Now, I mean, they feel smooth to the touch, and I sanded them with, let's see, I think it was 80 grit from there. And it feels smooth, but here's the thing, after I washed it down with mineral spirits and water, I did sand it with the 80 grit, so I took off some of the fibers that would come up. But today, I'm going to sand it again, and I'm going to sand with 120 and see what happens. And if I can get it looking nice and light with the 120, I'll go quickly with the shellac, which I brought up. You can see right there on the table, I have my shellac, my paint for touch-ups, and the lacquer for lacquer touch-ups. Yeah, and hopefully, I'm not sure, but hopefully I can get these nearly done today, and then we can do our waxing, which will be really pretty, because what I want to do is I want to leave the tops natural if I can. I might put a little bit of stain on it, and then I'm actually going to dark wax the edges. It will be so pretty. And there will be dark wax on the details on the legs, on the turnings. So, yeah, that'll be really pretty. This is a tung oil finish. I did 2 coats of shellac, and now I'm going to do 2 coats of the tung oil. It could be a little bit cold for the tung oil, and it did feel like it was having trouble drying. I left it for 2 hours in between coats, but after the second coat I'm going to leave it all night and then come back in the morning and give it a little bit of a light sanding. One more time. Here's where we started. I left off yesterday after 2 coats of shellac and 2 coats of tung oil. Today I gave them a coat of Howard's beeswax and a little shading of black wax around the turnings on the legs. I added new round knobs on the drawers, and I replaced the broken dowel that I had to saw out to fix the drawers. I waxed the drawers inside and out, and they slide perfectly. The wood tops are natural from here, and I think they look beautiful that way. This is the before, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you have stained them? And if so, what shading would you have done?